Islam Makhachev is still a decent favorite over Charles Oliveira in their rematch. See if fighters agree in the latest edition of MMA Pros Pick.
I think so. I think, Charles is kind of at the end of his career. He's had a lot of fights. He's been in a lot of wars, so that chin's kind of gone. So, he should be able to beat him, but you never know. That's what makes fighting so exciting is every time you get locked in that cage, it doesn't matter what the odds say. It matters who shows up that night.
Oh, man, that's like up in the air. I'm leaning towards Islam, man. I think he's got it again. I think he's going to be champ for a while. If it does go towards Oliveira, it's definitely going to be his anti-wrestling jiu-jitsu, looking for the neck, looking for the darts, the guillotines.
Say my pick now because I think Oliveira, he don't change anything. He's still he's very elite wrestler, very elite grappler. But on his last fight, he showed again, I think if he going the same with Islam, that's not good for him. Because if he trying to jump for close guard, and with Islam, that's not too good. I don't know anyway the same, man. But I'm picked to Islam.
Saying Islam Makhachev, he's just very strong. I know definitely Charles will go and show everything what he got, but the same way Islam, he's just these guys, they have different mindset. They are, they are not going to play around. Mm-hmm. This is the mindset is different. They go there to die. They won't let their victory just flow away because they okay, I decide so.
I'm an Oliveira fan. It was heartbreaking to see him getting beat the way he did the last time. But you can't really see past Islam, can you? As against Volk, he was incredible, and I know everybody's saying Volk won that fight, but I don't think he did. I'm probably going to lose some fans for this. I know he wasn't in danger, but you need to be putting the pace on. You need to be securing these positions. And if you look at him when Islam had him in the submission, he was kind of chilling on his back. I still think Islam won that, and that's why I'm going to go Islam again for the victory. And does he do it over the distance? Probably it's going to be through the distance. I think that Oliveira is going to tighten up his jiu-jitsu game in these areas. Me saying that Oliveira needs to tighten up his jiu-jitsu game feels like sacrilege because he's one of the greatest submission artists in the UFC. So he's going to have to tighten that up against somebody like Islam, and I imagine he's going to be coming well more prepared than he did in the previous fight.
Islam. He is, very good. He's gonna do this for sure.
Man, I picked Charles last time around just because every time I picked against Charles, he's won. And I did that with Benil Dariush, and again, I ate my words. I picked him when he fought Islam the first time around. So you know what? I'm gonna pick Islam in hopes that Charles gets the fight done.
Oh, that's a tough one. Actually, last time I was very sure that Islam gonna win, but this rematch, I'm very it's 50-50 for me. I love both of these fighters. They are great fighter. The both are my favorite fighters. So, but still, I think Islam gonna take it. It's not gonna as easy as the last time. It's gonna be a good fight, a good technical war. But I think 4th or 5th round, either by decision or 4th or 5th round, Islam will take. I think Islam is technically and skill-wise is better fighter. Is more intelligent, so he's gonna take it.
I mean, I'm a huge Charles Oliveira fan. I just think he's he's a fighter for the people, the fighters. He's a fighter's fighter. But Islam is someone that's just super dominant. I think it's, once again, one of those fights that you have to put some money on because you never know what Charles is going to show up. And he has a really dangerous game when he uses it, right? So I'm going to go with Charles just to be, devil's advocate of
okay.
I'm sure he's going to be the underdog in this fight, right? So
yeah, he is for sure.
I'm answering this one with my heart, not my head. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a big Do Bronx fan. I love the way he fights. You know what I'm saying? It's the most exciting champion I've ever watched personally. You know what I'm saying? So I'm rooting for the Bronx. I'm picking this one with my heart, not my head. You know what I mean?
So your head would pick Islam then, if you had to bet money on it. I'm assuming you do.
If I had to bet money, because it's just such a
and not that. And
matchup.
to clarify, you guys aren't allowed to bet money, but just saying, if you could, would you put money on Islam?
If I had to do it, I'm probably putting my money on Islam, just because he's not like Charles in every way that he's great. He's not like someone like Volk, which is kind of what you kind of need to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's okay with getting taken down. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't a good thing against anybody from that part of the world. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think it's gonna be much better than the first fight. I think Charles struggled a little bit. I don't know if like the pressure got to him, being somewhere else got to him, or what. But he looked phenomenal, I thought, against Beneil. And I think watching that Volk fight, it gives you some idea of like, okay, here's some things I can exploit. He has a really good gym. Diego Lima, that's his coach, right? I think. That guy's a really good coach. If you look at his fighters, they seem to be well prepared. I think he can go break, because there's not a ton of film of Islam facing much adversity. So that's hard sometimes as a coach, I think, to break it down. Like, well, it's like John Jones. Like, where can you really watch film and be like, this is where we can have a ton of success? Yeah. But I think that fight gives them 25 minutes of like, okay, well, here's where we can be successful. Even though Charles and Volk aren't the same fighter, it still gives you like, okay, here's some ideas we can kind of have, which I think is huge for confidence, and also, just having a game plan and tactics. I still think Islam gets the job done, just because I think his wrestling and pressure is tough to deal with, especially for somebody who's so comfortable off their back. I feel like Volk really did a good job of, like, if they got taken down, he didn't play the jiu-jitsu. He's like, I'm gonna get back to my feet. Whereas it's almost like a blessing and a curse to be so talented off your back like Charles is, because then you can be like, okay, well, I'll sub him off my back, which isn't easy to do. And I feel like you can lose rounds that way by spending time on your back. So I think Islam still gets it done, but I think it'll be a much closer, more entertaining fight.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, I think the onus is always on the guy who won the first time, because I feel like, he can just kind of be like, I've already beat this guy. Let me just go and show up and beat him again. Like, I always look back at like the Luke Rockhold, Michael Bisping, like, I already smoked this dude. Like, maybe he doesn't train as hard. And I'm not saying that was the case, but I always just kind of think about like, the onus is more on the guy who won the first time, whereas the guy who lost, I feel like, he's got the motivation. He might have, gone back and looked at the drawing board at some of the things he can fix. So I would imagine it'd be a much closer fight this time around, to be honest with you, James.
And do you think Islam takes that one again? I think, betting wise, it's kind of looking that way, right?
It's hard to bet against him, man. It really is. It's very hard to bet against him. I think Oliveira can do some things on the feet, but the problem every time I watch Oliveira, it seems like his head stays right on that center line. He gets clipped, and the one thing that he always did great was anytime he got hit, he always kind of had a standing 8 count with his guard. He just lay on his back and nobody wanted to go in his guard. So he was always okay there, whereas Islam is welcome to go in your guard. He already just submitted you last time, so he has no problem getting in the ground game with you. So I think Oliveira can do some good things on the feet. He just has to mind his center lines.
Yeah, I got Islam. I think Islam still gets it done. I think Charles is going to put up a better fight. Going to be more competitive fight, but Islam for sure gets it done.
I think it'll be more competitive this time. I think Charles is coming with a little bit of a different mindset, a little more confidence and stuff like that. And I do think he's going to put on a much better show than he did in the first fight. But I still think Islam's going to be able to take it. I think he'll still probably finish it late, like maybe like 4th round, early in the 5th this time. Again, I think Charles is going to do much better. I just don't think he's going to be able to really do much. And then it'll just add up. The damage will accumulate, and then probably in the end of the 4th, beginning of the 2nd, we'll see either a submission or a TKO for Islam.
I think it's gonna be a lot closer, but I think I still got Islam.
I like Charles, but I don't think so. I think Islam just has his number. It's a bad stylistic matchup. He's too good on the feet, too good on the ground. He's not scared to follow Charles to the ground. I think I'm gonna take Islam.
Charles, he's a guy who is always overcoming himself. I really take a lot of motivation from his story, and I'm always cheering for him, always supporting Charles. and I guess I think he's gonna get the win too. I know it's a really hard one to pick Charles, because Chimaev is a really complete guy, his mindset and everything.
Islam.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Islam is a guy who has a really strong mindset, and he's really, really technical on his game. His takedowns and how he works his ground game, it's really solid. He's really solid, and he could see the the advantage he can take from Charles' game. So it's gonna be a huge fight for Charles to overcome himself and get this win. But I'm with him.
I love Charles, but I'm gonna have to give it to Islam. I think the fight is gonna be similar to the first fight, I think, and I think Islam's just on a different level.
I'll probably go with Islam again.
I think Islam's going to get it done again. I'm not sure if he's going to get the finish. I hope it's a war. I hope it's a 5-round. We can really see what Charles Oliveira can do on the feet, and it lasts a little bit longer on the feet. And another one, man. I'm going for Islam for that fight, but just another one of banger fights where you just have to sit back and tell everybody, hey, shh, just watch the fight. Watch the fight.
Yeah.
Wow. I think Islam is way strong, like way stronger than people are giving him credit for. I do see him winning again against Charles. Unfortunately, Charles is the fan favorite. We all love Charles Oliveira as a champion. We want to see him be a champion again, but I think right now is Islam's time.